My name is Smith. I'm 47 years old, and what I discovered in my own home shattered everything I believed about the people I love. For 12 years, I thought I knew my wife. I thought I understood what loyalty meant. I thought trust was something you earned once and kept forever. But lying in that hospital bed, tubes in my arms, barely able to breathe on my own, I learned that trust is just a word we use to make ourselves feel safe. And safety? That's just an illusion we cling to until someone rips it away. My wife emptied my bank account while I was fighting for my life. Every penny, gone. But what she didn't know, what she couldn't have possibly known, would change everything. But what I saw that night when I finally came home, I'll never forget it. The image is burned into my mind like a scar that will never fade. Before I continue, please like this video, subscribe, and tell me where you're watching from. It helps me know someone out there still believes in stories like this. Because right now, sitting here, telling you what happened, I need to know I'm not alone. I need to know that someone out there understands what it feels like to have your entire world crumble while you're too weak to even stand. Life wasn't always like this. God, it wasn't always filled with this anger, this pain that sits in my chest like broken glass. There was a time when I woke up smiling. Can you imagine that? Me, smiling, genuinely happy to start another day. Sarah and I met in college. She was studying nursing, I was in business administration. We were young, stupid, so completely in love it hurt. The good kind of hurt, you know. The kind that makes you feel alive. We got married right after graduation, moved into a small apartment that we could barely afford, and we were happy. Genuinely, beautifully happy. I worked my way up in a logistics company, started as a coordinator, worked nights, weekends, holidays. I didn't care. I was building something. I was building a life for us. Sarah worked at the local hospital, doing double shifts sometimes, coming home exhausted, but always with that smile, always with a kiss for me at the door. We had our routines. Sunday mornings were pancakes and terrible reality TV. Tuesday nights were date nights, even if it was just pizza and a movie on the couch. Friday evenings, we'd cook together, dancing in the kitchen to whatever playlist she'd made that week. She made playlists for everything. God, I loved that about her. 10 years into our marriage, we bought a house. Not a big one, but it was ours. 3 bedrooms, a small backyard, a mortgage that scared me every month, but it was ours. I remember the day we got the keys. Sarah cried. Happy tears. I held her in that empty living room and promised her I'd fill it with love and laughter and everything good in this world. I kept that promise. Or at least I thought I did. I worked harder. Got promoted to regional manager. The money got better. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. We talked about kids. Not yet, we'd say. Soon. When things are more stable. Always soon. But soon, I started noticing small things that didn't make sense. Little things, at first. Things I told myself were nothing. Things I convinced myself were just me being paranoid or stressed from work. Sarah started coming home later. Just 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there. Traffic was terrible, she'd say. Had to finish paperwork, she'd explain. And I believed her. Why wouldn't I? This was Sarah. My Sarah. The woman who made me playlists and danced with me in the kitchen and cried happy tears in our empty house. But then it was an hour. Then 2 hours. Emergency at the hospital, she'd text. Covering for someone. And still, I believed her. Because that's what you do when you love someone. You trust them. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You don't become that person who checks phones and asks too many questions. The money started disappearing too. Small amounts. 100 here, 200 there. Girls' night out, she'd say. Had to buy new scrubs. Car needed gas. Always an explanation. Always reasonable. Always just believable enough. I kept working, kept providing, kept being the good husband who trusted his wife and didn't ask uncomfortable questions. Because what kind of man suspects his wife of what? I didn't even know what I was suspecting her of. I just knew something felt wrong. Something felt different. She stopped touching me. That's when I really started to worry. It was subtle at first. She'd pull away just a fraction of a second too early from a hug. She'd kiss me on the cheek instead of the lips. She'd go to bed an hour after me instead of at the same time. Our bedroom became a place where two people slept in the same bed, but might as well have been on different planets. "Are we okay?" I asked her one night. It was a Tuesday, our date night, except we hadn't had a real date night in months. "Of course we are," she said, not looking up from her phone. "Why would you ask that?" "I don't know, you just seem distant. I'm tired, Smith. I work 12-hour shifts. Can you just let me relax?" And I did, because I was tired too, and because confrontation is exhausting, and because I wanted to believe that everything was fine, that we were just going through a rough patch, that love was enough to carry us through. But love isn't always enough. Sometimes love is just a word we hide behind while everything falls apart. Until one night, I saw something that made my heart stop. It was 3 in the morning. I'd gotten up to use the bathroom and saw light coming from under her phone on the nightstand. She was asleep next to me, breathing softly, looking peaceful, beautiful even, and her phone kept lighting up. Message after message after message. I shouldn't have looked. I know that. I know that looking at someone's phone without permission is a violation of privacy, of trust. But my hand moved on its own. I picked up that phone and I saw a name I didn't recognize. Jay was all it said, and the messages. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." Tonight was amazing. He has no idea. My heart stopped, literally stopped. I stood there in my own bedroom, holding my wife's phone, reading words that were destroying me from the inside out, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything but stand there and feel my entire world tilt on its axis. I put the phone back. I went back to bed. I lay there next to her for the rest of the night, not sleeping, barely breathing, just staring at the ceiling and trying to convince myself I'd misunderstood. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was anything other than what it obviously was. But the next morning, the evidence was right in front of me, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I wanted to. God, I wanted to ignore it so badly. I wanted to wake up and pretend I'd never seen those messages. I wanted to go back to being the man who trusted his wife, who believed in his marriage, who thought love conquers all. But I couldn't. The words kept playing in my head. He has no idea. Over and over and over again. He has no idea. I started watching her. I hate that. I hate that I became that person. The suspicious husband. The man who notices every little thing. Every time she checked her phone. Every time she smiled at a text. Every time she said she had to work late. "You're being paranoid," I told myself. "You're destroying your marriage over nothing." But it wasn't nothing. Deep down, I knew it wasn't nothing. I tried to talk to my best friend, Tom. We'd been friends since high school. He knew Sarah almost as well as I did. "Man, you're stressed," he said when I tried to bring it up. We were having beers after work, sitting in our usual booth at the bar we'd been going to for 15 years. "You're working too hard. Sarah loves you. Everyone can see that." "But what if nothing?" he interrupted. "Don't be that guy, Smith. Don't be the guy who ruins a good thing because of paranoia. Sarah's a good woman. You're lucky to have her." And I felt guilty. I felt like a terrible husband for even suspecting her, for reading her messages, for doubting her. So I tried harder. I brought her flowers. I planned a surprise dinner. I tried to reconnect, to fix whatever was broken between us. She seemed annoyed by it all. The flowers sat in a vase, ignored. The dinner was eaten in silence while she scrolled through her phone. My attempts at conversation were met with one-word answers and sighs. "What do you want from me, Smith?" she finally snapped one evening. "I'm tired. I work all day. I come home exhausted. Can you just give me some space?" Space. She wanted space, in our own home, from her own husband. "I'm sorry," I said, because what else could I say? "I just miss you. I feel like we never talk anymore." "We're talking right now." "Are we? Because it feels like you're somewhere else, like you're here physically, but your mind is... I don't know where." "You're being dramatic," she said, standing up from the table. "I'm going to bed." It was 7:30. She was going to bed at 7:30. And I sat there at that table alone, with 2 plates of food I'd spent an hour cooking, and I knew. I knew something was very, very wrong. But I didn't know how wrong. I didn't know how bad it would get. I didn't know that in a few weeks I'd be fighting for my life while she was destroying everything we'd built. My mother called that guilt my weakness. "You always were too soft," she'd said to me once, years ago, when I'd let a friend borrow money he never paid back. "You let people walk all over you because you're too afraid to see them for what they really are." Maybe she was right. Maybe I was too soft, too trusting, too stupid to see what was right in front of me. But the next morning, the evidence was right in front of me, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. It started with a bank statement. I was paying bills online, something I did every month, and I noticed some transactions I didn't recognize. ATM withdrawals, $300, $500, $700, cash withdrawals that I hadn't made. "Sarah?" I called out. She was getting ready for work in the bathroom. "Did you take out cash this week?" Silence. Then, "Why?" "There are some withdrawals here I don't remember making." She came out of the bathroom, makeup half done, and looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. Was it anger, fear, guilt? "I needed cash for something," she said. "For what? $1,000 in cash?" "I don't have to explain every dollar I spend, Smith. It's my money, too." "I know, that's a lot of cash. I'm just asking what it was for. And I'm telling you it's none of your business." She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. "I'm late for work." None of my business. The money in our joint account was none of my business. I sat there for an hour after she left, staring at that bank statement. The anger was building now, not the explosive kind, the slow, burning kind that starts in your gut and spreads through your entire body until you can't think about anything else. I decided to find out the truth. Not because I wanted to, not because I was trying to catch her doing something wrong, but because I needed to know. I needed to understand what was happening to my marriage, to my life, to me. I started checking our account daily. More withdrawals. More cash disappearing. In 2 weeks, nearly $5,000 gone. Where was it going? What was she doing with all that money? I installed a security camera, just one, in the living room. For safety, I told myself, in case someone breaks in. But I knew the truth. I was watching my own wife in my own home because I didn't trust her anymore. The anxiety was eating me alive. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't focus at work. Every time my phone buzzed, I thought it was going to be something terrible. A text from a stranger, a notification from the bank, evidence of something I didn't want to see. I lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Tom noticed. "You okay, man? You look like hell." "I'm fine," I lied. Because how do you tell someone that you're falling apart? That you're watching your marriage disintegrate and you don't know how to stop it? The fear was constant now. Not fear of what I might find, fear of what it would mean when I did find it. Fear of having to face the truth. Fear of having to make decisions I wasn't ready to make. That night, I pressed record on the camera and waited. I didn't have to wait long. She came home at 6. Normal time for once. She didn't know about the camera. It was hidden in a bookshelf, just the lens showing, small enough that you wouldn't notice unless you were looking for it. I was upstairs in the bedroom pretending to work on my laptop, but really I was watching the live feed on my phone. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. She walked in, put her purse down, looked around. Then she pulled out her phone and made a call. I couldn't hear what she was saying from upstairs, but the camera had audio. I'd hear it later. For now, I just watched her pace back and forth, talking, smiling, actually smiling. A smile I hadn't seen in months. A smile that used to be for me. 20 minutes later, there was a knock at the door. My blood went cold. Someone was coming to my house. To our house. While I was home. Sarah practically ran to the door. She opened it and a man walked in. Tall, athletic, probably in his 30s. He was wearing scrubs. A co-worker. He was a co-worker from her hospital. They hugged, right there in my living room. They hugged and then they kissed. Not a peck on the cheek. A kiss. A real kiss. The kind of kiss that meant something. The kind of kiss you give someone you love. I froze. My whole world collapsed in a single frame. I sat there, phone in my hand, watching my wife kiss another man in our home. The home we bought together. The home where we were supposed to build our life. The home where she'd cried happy tears and where I'd promised her everything good in this world. And she was kissing someone else. I wanted to run downstairs. I wanted to burst into that room and scream and throw him out and demand answers. But I couldn't move. My body wouldn't cooperate. I just sat there frozen, watching, feeling everything inside me break into pieces so small I knew I'd never put them back together. They sat on the couch. My couch. They talked. They laughed. They touched each other. Casual touches. Familiar touches. The touches of two people who knew each other well. Too well. "I hate lying to him," I finally heard Sarah say. The audio quality wasn't perfect, but her words came through clear enough. Clear enough to destroy me. "Then leave him," the man said. His name was Jason. I'd find that out later. Jason from the hospital. Jason who'd been to our house for a barbecue last summer. Jason who'd shaken my hand and told me I was a lucky man. "I can't just leave," Sarah said. "Not yet. Not until we have enough." "Enough? Enough what?" "You've been taking money out like we planned?" Jason asked. "Every week. He hasn't noticed yet? Or if he has, he hasn't said anything. The cash withdrawals, the missing money. She was stealing from me, from us, taking our money and... What? Saving it for her new life with him? How much so far?" Jason asked. "Almost 20,000, Sarah said, and she smiled. She actually smiled when she said it. "Another month or two, and we'll have enough to get a place together. Then I'll file for divorce." $20,000. $20,000 that I'd worked for, that I'd earned, that I'd put in our account for our future, our house, our life. And she was stealing it to start a new life with someone else. But what happened next was even worse. Jason stood up and walked around the living room, looking at the pictures on the walls. Pictures of Sarah and me. Our wedding day, our honeymoon in Mexico, Christmas last year, our entire life together on display. "You think he suspects anything?" Jason asked. "Smith?" Sarah laughed. Actually laughed. "No, he's too trusting, too naive. He believes everything I tell him." Those words cut deeper than the affair, deeper than the stolen money. She thought I was stupid. She thought I was too dumb to see what was happening right in front of me. "What about when he finds out about the money?" Jason asked. "He won't. And even if he does, what's he going to do? Half of it is legally mine anyway. I'll just say I was saving it. He can't prove anything." "You're cold," Jason said, but he was smiling. He liked it. He liked that she was betraying me, that she was using me. "I'm practical," Sarah corrected. "I spent 12 years with a man who was safe and boring and utterly predictable. I did my time. Now I want to actually live. Safe and boring. 12 years of marriage, of love, of building a life together, and I was safe and boring. I felt something break inside me that wasn't already broken, some last piece of hope or denial or faith in humanity. It shattered, and what replaced it was pure, burning rage. But I still didn't move. I stayed upstairs, watching, recording, documenting, because some part of my brain was still working, still thinking ahead. Some part of me knew I'd need evidence, that this footage would matter, that I couldn't just react emotionally, I had to be smart. They stayed for another hour, kissing on my couch, planning their future, laughing about me, about how stupid I was, about how easy it had been to fool me. When Jason finally left, Sarah locked the door behind him, then stood there for a moment with her hand on the door frame. For just a second, I saw something in her expression. Regret? Guilt? But then it was gone, and she walked upstairs. I closed the laptop quickly, pretending to be working. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. She walked into the bedroom. "Hey," she said casually. "How was your day?" How was my day? She was asking me how my day was after spending the last hour with her lover in our living room. "Fine," I managed to say. My voice sounded strange even to me. Hollow. "You okay? You look pale." "Just tired." "You should get some rest," she said, and then she went into the bathroom to shower, to wash off her betrayal before climbing into bed with me. I sat there listening to the water run and thought about what I was going to do. Part of me wanted to confront her right then, to throw my phone at her and make her watch what I'd seen, to scream and cry and demand to know how she could do this to me. But another part of me knew that wouldn't accomplish anything. She'd already shown me who she was, what she thought of me, how little I meant to her. So I made a different decision. I would wait. I would document everything. I would move our money to a separate account she couldn't access. I would prepare. And when the time was right, I would make sure she got exactly what she deserved. Nothing. I thought it was over, but I was wrong. 3 days later, I couldn't breathe. Not metaphorically, literally. I woke up gasping for air, my chest tight, pain radiating down my left arm. Sarah was already awake, getting ready for work. "Smith? What's wrong?" I couldn't answer, couldn't speak. The pain was incredible. "Oh my God!" She grabbed her phone, called 911, and for a moment I saw genuine fear in her eyes. Real concern. Maybe even love. Or maybe I was just seeing what I wanted to see. The ambulance came. The paramedics asked questions I couldn't answer. Sarah rode with me to the hospital, holding my hand, telling me it would be okay. Heart attack. That's what the doctor said. A massive heart attack at 37 years old. Stress-induced. My body had literally given up under the weight of everything I'd been carrying. I spent 3 days in the ICU. Sarah visited once. She came, she said she had to work, she couldn't take time off, there were patients who needed her, and she left. I lay there in that hospital bed, tubes in my arms, monitors beeping, and I thought about her words. Patients who needed her. But I didn't need her? Her husband, having a heart attack at 37, didn't need her? My phone was in my bag. Sarah had brought it from home. When I was finally strong enough to check it, I saw she'd texted Jason. I still had access to our cellular account. I could see every message. He had a heart attack. How long will he be in the hospital? At least a week. Perfect. That gives us time. Time for what? I found out 2 days later when I checked our bank account from my hospital bed. 0. There was $0 in our account. $53,000. Gone. Everything. My paycheck that had just been deposited. The savings we'd built up over 12 years. Every single penny. She'd emptied it. While I was lying in a hospital bed fighting for my life, my wife had stolen every dollar we had. The rage I felt wasn't hot. It was cold. Ice cold. The kind of cold that makes you think clearly. The kind of cold that makes you dangerous. But what she didn't know, what she couldn't have possibly known, was that I'd already moved our real savings. 2 weeks ago, after I'd seen that first video, I'd opened a new account. I'd transferred $80,000, all of our actual savings, our emergency fund, everything that mattered, into an account with only my name on it. The account she'd emptied, I'd been putting just enough into it to make it look normal. My paychecks, a few thousand extra. Enough to be convincing. Enough to let her think she was getting away with something. She'd stolen $53,000, but I had $80,000 she didn't know about. She thought she was smart, thought she was playing me, but she'd walked right into the trap I'd set. I discharged myself from the hospital a day early against medical advice. The doctors warned me I needed rest, monitoring, medication adjustments. I didn't care. I needed to go home. I needed to see what else she'd done. The house was empty when I got there. Sarah was at work. Or maybe she was with Jason. I didn't know. Didn't care. I went to our bedroom. Her closet was half empty. She'd been packing, getting ready to leave, probably planning to disappear one day while I was at work, leave me a note, and vanish with all our money into her new life. But I'd ruined her plan by having a heart attack, by being in the hospital where she couldn't wait for me to leave for work. So she'd emptied the account anyway, and was probably planning to leave that week. I sat on our bed and looked around, at the life we'd built, at the room where we'd made love and had fights and dreamed about the future, and I felt nothing. No sadness, no anger, nothing. She'd already destroyed me so completely that there was nothing left to feel. I called my lawyer. Yes, I'd already contacted a lawyer. 2 weeks ago, right after that first video. I wasn't stupid. I was broken and betrayed and had a heart attack from the stress. But I wasn't stupid. She took the money, I told him. All of it? He sounded surprised. Everything in the joint account. $53,000. And she doesn't know about the other account? No. Good. That's going to save you. File for divorce today. Today, Smith. Before she has time to hide that money or claim it was for bills or some other excuse. I filed that afternoon, had the papers sent to her work, had them delivered right to the nurse's station where everyone could see, where Jason could see. She called me screaming, actually screaming. How could you do this? How could you file for divorce without even talking to me? The audacity. The absolute audacity of this woman to act betrayed when she'd been cheating on me, stealing from me, planning to leave me anyway. "Did you think I didn't know?" I asked, my voice calm. Too calm. "Did you really think I was that stupid?" Silence. "I know about Jason. I know about the money. I know about all of it, Sarah. I've known for weeks." "You were spying on me?" Now she was the victim. Now she was outraged. "You violated my privacy. You violated our marriage. You stole from me. You cheated on me. You mocked me. But sure, let's talk about privacy." "I want the house," she said suddenly. "I'm getting the house in the divorce." "You're not getting anything," I told her. "You stole $53,000 from me while I was in the hospital. You committed adultery. You're getting nothing. Not the house. Not the car. Nothing. Half of everything is mine." "Then I'll see you in court." I hung up. She showed up at the house an hour later, Jason with her. They actually came to my house together. The boldness, the complete lack of shame. I'd called the police first, told them my soon-to-be ex-wife might show up and become violent. They sent a cruiser. It was parked across the street when Sarah and Jason pulled up. "You called the cops?" Sarah shouted from the driveway. "Are you serious?" "You're trespassing," I said from the doorway. "I filed for divorce. I want you off my property." "It's my property, too." "Not anymore. Read the restraining order that's being filed tomorrow. You come here again, you get arrested." Jason stepped forward, trying to look tough. "You can't talk to her like that. And you can't sleep with other men's wives," I said. "But here we are. Get off my property. Both of you." The cop got out of his car. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem, officer," I said. "They were just leaving." Sarah looked at me with so much hatred, pure, undiluted hatred, like I was the one who destroyed everything, like I was the villain in this story. "You'll regret this," she said. "No," I replied. "I don't think I will." They left. The cop stayed for another 30 minutes, made sure they didn't come back. He'd seen this before, he told me. Divorce brings out the worst in people. He had no idea. And just when I thought life was returning to normal, something unexpected happened. The divorce took 6 months. 6 brutal, exhausting months of lawyers and court dates and financial disclosures. Sarah fought for everything: the house, the car, alimony. She painted me as a controlling, abusive husband who'd driven her to seek comfort elsewhere. But I had evidence. Video of her and Jason in our house. Bank records of the stolen money. Text messages I'd subpoenaed from the cellular company, screenshots of everything. Her lawyer tried to argue that the money in the joint account was legally hers to take. My lawyer argued that emptying the entire account while I was hospitalized showed malicious intent. The judge agreed. In the end, she got nothing. The house was mine. The car was mine. I was ordered to pay her $10,000 in settlement, a fraction of what she'd stolen. No alimony because of the proven adultery. She had to pay back $30,000 of the stolen money. The rest had already been spent. On what? An apartment for her and Jason, new furniture, a trip to Hawaii. She'd burned through $23,000 in 3 months. Jason left her. Did I mention that? 2 months into the divorce proceedings, he decided he didn't want to be involved anymore. The excitement of an affair is one thing. The reality of being named in divorce proceedings, of having to give depositions, of being publicly exposed as an adulterer, that wasn't fun anymore. Sarah tried to come back, actually tried to reconcile, sent me messages saying she'd made a mistake. She still loved me. We could work through this. I blocked her number. The anger consumed me for a long time, months, maybe a year. I'd lie awake at night thinking about everything she'd done, everything she'd taken from me. Not the money, the trust, the years, the belief that love meant something. I went to therapy. Had to. The heart attack was a warning. The stress was killing me. Literally killing me. I had to learn to let go of the rage before it put me back in the hospital. It took time. So much time. There were days when I thought I'd never feel normal again. Days when the anger would surge up out of nowhere and I'd have to pull my car over because I couldn't see through the tears. But slowly, gradually, I started to heal. Started to rebuild. Started to remember who I was before all of this happened. I sold the house. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. I bought a smaller place across town. A condo. Clean, new, no history. I changed jobs. Needed a fresh start, less stress, better work-life balance. I stopped working nights and weekends, started actually living instead of just surviving. I dated eventually. Nothing serious, wasn't ready for that. But I learned to trust again, slowly, carefully, with proper boundaries and open communication. I learned the lesson that everyone has to learn eventually. Not everyone is who they pretend to be. Not everyone deserves your trust. And love alone isn't enough if there's no respect, no honesty, no loyalty. If something feels wrong, trust your instincts. You might save a life, even your own. I'm telling you this story not because I want sympathy, not because I want you to feel sorry for me. I'm telling you this because someone out there needs to hear it. Someone is going through something similar right now. Someone is ignoring the signs, dismissing their gut feelings, convincing themselves everything is fine when deep down they know it's not. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. If your partner's behavior changes and they can't explain why, dig deeper. If money starts disappearing and the explanations don't add up, investigate. If you feel like you're being lied to, you probably are. I wasted months trying to convince myself I was paranoid, trying to give Sarah the benefit of the doubt, trying to be the good husband who trusts his wife, and all that time she was betraying me, using me, planning her exit while I was still trying to save our marriage. Don't be me. Don't wait until you're in a hospital bed to realize that the person you love has been destroying you all along. Don't wait until your bank account is empty and your heart is broken and your body is failing under the stress. The signs are always there, always. We just don't want to see them, because seeing them means acknowledging that something we believed in, something we built our life around, was a lie. But acknowledging the truth, as painful as it is better than living in a beautiful lie. Because eventually, that lie will destroy you. It will eat away at your health, your sanity, your ability to trust anyone ever again. I'm 38 now. It's been almost a year since the divorce was finalized. I'm healthier than I've been in years. My heart is strong, my blood pressure is normal, the constant anxiety is gone. I'm not happy yet. Not really. But I'm okay. And okay is a hell of a lot better than where I was. I'm learning to trust again, learning to open up, learning that not everyone is Sarah. Not everyone will betray me. Not everyone will steal from me and mock me and destroy me. But I'm also learning to protect myself, to watch for the signs, to trust my instincts, to never again ignore that feeling in my gut that tells me something is wrong. The anger is fading, slowly. It flares up sometimes, usually when I see a couple that reminds me of what Sarah and I used to be. But mostly, it's just a dull ache now. A scar that will probably never fully fade, but doesn't hurt quite as much anymore. I don't hate Sarah. I did for a long time. But hate is exhausting. It takes so much energy to hate someone, and I needed that energy to rebuild my life. So I let it go. Not for her. For me. Because I deserved peace. She's with someone new now. I saw on social media, not Jason, someone else, some guy from her gym. I hope he checks his bank account regularly. I hope he trusts his instincts if something feels wrong. I hope he doesn't end up where I did. But mostly, I just don't care. She's not my problem anymore. She's not my wife, not my responsibility, not my concern. She's just someone I used to know, someone who taught me some very expensive, very painful lessons. And that's not the only secret I discovered that year, but that's a story for another time. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is right now. It really means the world to me. I need to know I'm not alone. I need to know that someone out there understands. I need to know that by sharing my pain, my anger, my journey from betrayal to survival, I'm helping someone else who's going through the same thing. Because that's what this is about. Not revenge, not even justice. It's about survival. It's about picking yourself up after someone breaks you and learning to walk again, learning to trust again, learning to live again. You're not alone. If you're going through something like this, if you're feeling that pain in your chest that tells you something is wrong, if you're lying awake at night wondering if you're crazy or if your partner really is betraying you, you're not alone. Trust your instincts. Protect yourself. Document everything. Get help. Talk to someone. Don't let the stress kill you like it almost killed me. And know that on the other side of this pain, there is healing. There is peace. There is a life worth living without someone who doesn't respect you, doesn't value you, doesn't deserve you. I'm living proof of that. I survived. I'm still standing. I'm okay. And if I can make it through, so can you. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring enough to watch this video all the way to the end. Tell me where you are in the world right now. Tell me what time it is. Tell me if this story touched you, if it helped you, if it made you feel less alone. Because that's all any of us want, really. To know we're not alone. To know someone understands. To know that our pain matters. You matter. Your story matters. And you will survive this. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel. And remember, trust your instincts. They might save your life.